It is an overcast day here in Pocono, Pennsylvania for today's AC Spark Plug 150-mile event for the ARCA cars, and it is raining right now, although the skies are clearing and they are drying the track, and we're getting set for racing action hopefully within the next few minutes. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. First row, Tracy Leslie, 1988 Series champion, along with the veteran Bob Shack. Row 2, a couple of youngsters, both 24 years of age. Chris Gerke, an up-and-coming young driver who finished 4th here last month, and the fellow who finished right in front of him last month in ARCA competition at Pocono, Greg Trammell, also 24 years of age. Back in row 3, Bob Keselowski, the defending ARCA Series champion, and the ageless veteran Chargin' Charlie Glotzback, driving a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He will start 6th. Row 4, Bob Brebeck, the current point leader in overall ARCA competition. And, of course, Jimmy Horton, 4 wins and 4 starts, batting 1,000 in that same Pontiac. He will be in the 8th starting position. Back to row 5. From Georgia, Cecil Eunice, a short track competitor, 5-time dirt track champion in Jacksonville, Florida, in the car number 31, along with Joe Nemorowski in the car number 87. An impressive youngster, Bobby Boucher, second-generation driver, 2 short track wins this year in ARCA. He will start inside row 6, along with last year's Rookie of the Year, Graham Taylor, in the car number 76. Row 7, Bobby Gerhardt, along with the car number 9 of Doug French. In row 8, John Alexander, the car number 55, and Sonny Gupta in the car number 01. Back in row 9, Lee Raymond, a former pole sitter and winner here at Pocono. Watch for him to make a move early on. And the car number 04, Mark Hardy. Row 10, Kenny Compton, and the 3-time ARCA champion, the veteran Bob Dotter, in car number 8. Back in row 11, Donnie LeDuc now, the car number 77, and Danny Bumbacco, a young man from New Jersey here in the car number 57. Back in row 12, Glenn Brewer, who is the older brother of Tim Brewer, a Winston Cup crew chief there for Junior Johnson's team, and 56, which is Jerry Hill. Row 13, car number 88, Bud Hagelin, and car number 96, a man starting his first race ever of any kind, Alan Pruitt. Back in row 14, Gary Weinbrower, and of course Tom Bigelow, the IndyCar veteran and a former USAC Sprint and Midget champion. Getting ready for the green flag, coming out of turn 4. The AC Spark Plug 150 miles, 60 laps on a 2.5 mile. You see him coming at you down that 7/10 of a mile long straightaway. Green flag waving the field of ARCA, coming up through the gearbox, and they will fan out some 3 or 4 wide there, and end up very, very wide straightaway.
But they'll have to narrow down when they go into turn 1. They might be able to go in there side by side, but not 3 or 4 less.
Turn 1, a high-speed hairpin turn, bank 14 degrees. They come off of turn 1, and remember, 3 different turns, and they come up the Long Pond straightaway. The Long Pond straight, 3,055 feet. Up to what is probably the most difficult turn in all of NASCAR racing. They call it the tunnel turn. There is Horton going by Keselowski. Horton in the car number 80. Back up front, Tracy Leslie showing the way. Right behind him is Bob Shack. They look across the tunnel turn and head for the short straightaway, only 1,700 feet into turn 3.
Well, you wonder if they'll sort of tiptoe the first couple of laps here, Jerry, in competition. They've had practice laps, but those riffles spots there, they want to be sure not to hit.
Greg Trammell in the Ford Thunderbird. That's Shack in a brand new Buick Regal, 2 red cars. Shack on the left of your screen, and Trammell now trying to out-drag him on the straightaway, and Trammell will get him going into turn 1 and take second spot away.
He got good traction off of turn 3, Jerry, and then got in the draft of Shack's car down this long straightaway and was able to make the pass.
Tracy Leslie moving away to about a 7-car length advantage over that battle for second spot between Trammell and Shack.
Boy, look at Trammell pull away once he got around Bob Shack. I'll tell you, I have been impressed with the way these fellows have negotiated these relatively new turns. Many of them have run on this racetrack many times, but watch a pass here.
That is Chris Gerke going by Charlie Glotzback. Now Glotzback driving that Monte Carlo, white, red, numeral number 28.
He made that look pretty easy there.
Yeah, Gerke's really impressing a lot of people. Finished 4th here last month. His best speedway performance ever in ARCA competition, and now Horton begins to move in somewhat on Glotzback. So we are under caution for the first time today. Tracy Leslie is the leader in the Detroit Gaskets Oldsmobile, but Gary Weinbrower, driver from Brook Park, Ohio, has spun his car. Let's take a look and see what happened to Weinbrower.
Well, he climbs out of the car, but he lost it, Jerry. The back end just gets around on him, and he gets it down on the grass, tries to get it straightened out, but that grass is very wet. hits a piece of asphalt there, hopes that he can get it straightened out as other cars go by, and he continues to stay on the gas. You can see the wheels spinning. He's trying to stay away from this wall, but he's not going to be able to do it. He runs right into it. The car just simply wouldn't spin around on him, but it does look like there's too much damage to it.
We are under caution for the first time today here as the wildlife abounds here in the beautiful Pocono Mountains. Stay tuned for more ARCA racing action after this.
Live USAC Racing on ESPN is being brought to you by Firestone, tires that meet the test. By Quaker State, the Big Q is One Tub Motor Oil. And by Daihatsu, since 1907, the small car specialist from Japan. Back at Pocono International Raceway right now, let's take a look at how a series of caution periods affected this race. As the field prepared to go back to green after a caution brought out by car 89, ARCA officials found some oil on the track in turn 1 and kept the field under the yellow flag. Some of the race leaders, including Tracy Leslie and Jimmy Horton, took this as an opportunity to pit. This put them way back in the field. When green flag racing resumed on lap 12, young driver Greg Trammell was leading the race. But the attention getter was Jimmy Horton, coming back into the race in 22nd spot. Within one lap, he moved up 10 spots to 12. Tracy Leslie also began an impressive move, and within a few laps, both he and Horton were back in the top 10. Back up in front, Bob Shack took the lead from Greg Trammell. As they battled it out, Tracy Leslie made a power move past both Horton and Brevac to set up a battle with Gerke for 4th position. Then these exciting battles came to a close when car 31 brought out the second yellow of the day. A pit stop took Leslie out of the lead, but on the green flag, he shot past Shack and Trammell to regain the top spot and maintained a healthy lead for several laps. But on lap 30, Lady Luck turned her back on Leslie. A blown engine took him out of the race and brought out the 3rd caution of the day. After a series of pit stops with a strong run by Leslie ended now with a blown engine, it's back to green flag racing, and Charlie Glotzback is in the lead.
He can see in his mirror they're fanning out now 3 wide and putting on the chase as they head for turn 1.
Boy, the car number 87, they're trying to make a move on Charlie. There is who went into turn 1, but Charlie held his ground. And look at Jimmy Horton coming up on the outside.
Horton literally inhales Nemorowski coming off of turn 1 and trying to pull him, but Nemorowski now getting his top speed heading for turn 2. Now remember, the inside groove is the hot line there, but now Horton moves around him coming off turn 2 and will set his sights on Glotzback.
Nemorowski just backed off going into turn, which was perhaps a smart thing to do.
Car number 75, Bob Shack. Remember, 5 wins and 7 starts this racetrack. He literally owns the record books in ARCA competition here at Pocono. And now the car number 80, the left of your screen, really closing in a hurry on Glotzback.
He has fresher tires on the Pontiac than Glotzback, and that should make a difference.
Not much Charlie Glotzback can do except sit in his mirror and watch as Jimmy Horton begins to reel him in. Now 2 car lengths. Car length and a half, that in turn 1. And here comes Greg Trammell, right, Ned, moving inside of Bob Brevac. The car number 18, Trammell, the youngster from Dawsonville. Take a look at Glotzback's progress throughout the afternoon here. He started in the 4th spot on lap 10, of course, back in 20th spot on lap 20. All the way back up to 1st now on lap 45, and he is trying to roll the dice and hold on. Unbelievable move for Glotzback. 20th to 6th and a little over 10 laps. That's finally calling Sergeant Charlie.
Some of that came as a result of some pit stops, of course, Jerry, but he has had a good run here this afternoon, and you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to use up all of that racetrack he possibly can to keep Jimmy Horton back there, and that will work to Bob Shack's advantage because that'll give him an opportunity to move up a little closer.
Bob Shack is the orange or sort of reddish colored car you see in the top of your screen, the 3rd car there. Of course, Glotzback the leader, then Horton, then Bob Shack. Remember, we talked about it being a shootout there between Horton and Shack, and of course, Glotzback is right in the thick of it, and he is the leader, and Horton will try to make the move outside of turn 1.
Boy, is Charlie really protecting that inside groove, and Jimmy just can't make it off of turn 1 on the outside. And he's very smart, too, to back off and get back in line. He'll need to wait for Charlie to make a little bit of a slip, see if he can go by on the inside. But he can't do it, but he drifts up and makes Charlie think that he's going to try to go by on the outside, but Charlie has had that trick tried to pull on him before.
We'll be back with more racing action with the ARCA cars from Pocono in just a minute. Welcome back to Saturday Night Thunder and the ARCA 150 here at Pocono Raceway. Passing for 4th spot back in turn 1. Greg Trammell now moving around Joe Naborowski, taking the 4th spot away, and Trammell is on the move in the Ford Thunderbird.
Yes, he is. That car working very well. He has made several pit stops, has changed some tires. They might have even made a couple of adjustments on it, but the car is working well for him.
There and now looks like Steve Horton can make a move on the inside up in the tunnel turn. No, Glotzback again covers the inside groove. Horton tries to hug it, and Shack now gets into the action a little bit. See if he will make a move. Shack feigns to the inside. Horton makes a move to the inside, and see if Shack now will close it up behind Glotzback.
They're getting awfully close going in there. Now Horton might have the advantage.
Jimmy Horton puts a nose beneath Glotzback. Glotzback's car slips and slides, and Horton takes the lead. Shack now will try on the inside. Charlie Glotzback. They are dead even here at the start-finish line, heading for turn 1.
And as long as they run dead even that way, Jerry, that's going to help Jimmy Horton to pull away a little bit, because they're busting a big section of air back there. And, of course, Shack was not able to make the pass. Glotzback hangs on to second.
Bob Shack now trying to get himself a shot at Jimmy Horton, but he has to get by Charlie Glotzback. And Bob Breback back in the pass was being passed by Chris Gerke. Breback, the car number 34, and Gerke going by him. That is for the 6th spot.
He made that look relatively easy. So he's on the move right now, Jerry.
Chris Gerke having gone by Joe Naborowski to take over 5th. Young man who had an impressive run here last month. His best super speedway finish ever. He finished 4th. Trying to move up now and take 4th spot away.
And Bob Shack is coming into the pits. Well, this is certainly an unscheduled pit stop for him. Let's see what he does as he comes in at a pretty quick pace, comes to a stop, and they go to the right side. So apparently he had a tire going down. It certainly didn't show up on the racetrack. It must have happened all of a sudden, but a very tough break here for Bob Shack in that new Buick. Good pit work is going to get him back out there pretty quickly. He'll stay in the lead lap, but Jerry, he'll certainly have to have a caution to get back in the thick of the battle for the front spot here.
Battle now heating up for 3rd spot.
Greg Trammell in 3rd place in the Ford number 18, the Melling car, but Gerke has moved right in on him, Chris Gerke in the car number 19. So that's a good battle for the 3rd position.
2 impressive young drivers, both 24 years old, both starting in ARCA ranks and have run awfully well. Trammell having finished 3rd last month, Gerke finished 4th. In fact, they finished exactly the way they're running right now, in 3rd and 4th spot. And maybe Gerke says, in a month I've learned something, maybe I can pass him now.
Well, he's got his work cut out for him. Jerry, let's update the fans, the Bob Shack fans, where he's running now. He's moved up a couple more positions. He now is running 14th. So he's moving back up through the field, but as his crew chief says, they're going to have a caution flag before they can pick up too many positions and get back towards the front.
The red Ford with the Melling colors on the front. That's the car number 18 of Greg Trammell. The car, of course, owned by Harry Melling. Trammell, we mentioned, is an employee of the Elliott stable. He's the dynamometer technician there, works in the engine room along with Ernie. And Ernie and the Elliott crew are behind the pit wall, having supported him all afternoon. Here is Shack, back in the pack, trying to move back in the top 10. He was 14th a minute ago, and his brand new Buick Regal, a tough break here for the Lombard, Illinois driver. And there's the one they're chasing right now, Jimmy Horton, 34 years of age, driving the same car that they have won 4 times with on super speedways. The car is owned by his father-in-law, George Smith Sr. Rick Miller is the crew chief today. His laps winding down. It'll be 5 laps to go this time by.
Now Bob Shack has moved all the way up to 10th place, so he is really picking off those cars And the yellow flag is out, and we understand it is for rain. It has been picking up a little bit, so this will bunch the field up.
It is raining here in the waning laps at Pocono, Pennsylvania. The top 5 as they will finish here under caution. Of course, Jimmy Horton will win it. Charge and Charlie Glotzback finishing 2nd. Greg Trammell 3rd. Chris Gerke is 4th. And Bob Breback, our point leader, is in 5th spot. We'll be back with our victory lane interview with Jimmy Horton and Benny Parsons after this. Welcome back to Saturday Night Thunder. Here's a look at the top 5 in today's ARCA 150. Let's go down now to victory lane with our Benny Parsons.
Hey, Jimmy. I mean, I realize you've been high and dry, but we're wet in you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Benny. It's been, just one of them years. It's just, we weren't that good in the beginning of the race, and just things come around.
5 in a row? Did you ever? I mean, that's got to be a record of some kind.
I guess it is. We just happy for that we're getting so much luck. We just can't believe it's happening, and we just got to keep rolling with it.
Most of the time when you go to an ARCA pit, up and down pit road, you see 4 or 5 guys. I walked down to your pit today. There must have been 15 people in your pits. Winning sure helps get some help, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, it gets bigger and bigger now. Thankful Tide and Ultra Slim Fast and the Hendrick Motorsports is helping us out. And, Jeff was on the radio with me and talking me through it. And, the car wasn't right in the beginning, and we made some changes, and we're practicing for tomorrow.
Who is this guy?
Tell him.
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Another race car driver, folks.
Well, a very happy Jimmy Horton in victory lane, picking up his 5th consecutive super speedway win in ARCA competition. And now let's go to more racing action on Saturday Night Thunder.